Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today our show is Love Share. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today our show is Love Share, and we have with us Karen Love, Chief Operating Officer of the Michigan Chronicle and the founder of Love Share. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Marsha. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good,
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay. Now, Karen, this is a unique piece for us because we usually do something that's medical related and so forth. But I have been keeping up with reading the Chronicle and finding out about different services, and Love Share is one of yours. So can you start off telling us about yourself with the Chronicle and how did Love Share come about?
I've been with the Chronicle since 1989, and I'm not only COO of the Michigan Chronicle, I'm also COO and publisher of the Michigan Front Page newspaper.
Okay.
Project Love Share came about as a need for the Cass Corridor. As you know, the Chronicle offices are located in Cass Corridor on Ledyard. Coming to work every day, especially in the winter, I am so accustomed to seeing people on the street begging, sleeping on grates. I mean, it just really touched my heart. And one day I decided it was just time for us to try to do something for those individuals. You know, we have so much. You know, I'm one that truly believes that if anything hangs in my closet more than 2 years, it needs to be donated to somebody.
Okay.
And that is primarily how Project Love Share came about. Decided to contact some of my friends who are in different corporations in downtown Detroit area. And I gave them a 2-week ultimatum. Either they were going to put up or shut up.
Okay.
And helping me to help some of these people down in the Cass Corridor. So thank God for email.
Okay.
And thank God for people that it was laid on their hearts at a good time. This was just before the winter of 2003. And it turned out to be a very, very cold winter. And I started it out as a blanket drive and decided to expand it to gently used coats and boots and whatever people had that they could, donate to this whole project. So I ended up using the Baptist Center, which is right across the street from us, and as a distribution point. And believe it or not, they didn't want the things in the beginning.
Okay.
They said they had just had a blanket drive and they didn't want to give out anything else. And so I actually was able to persuade Deacon Bishop to help us in this project and be a distribution point. Plus, it's right across the street from us, which made it easy to transport things back and forth. And so he was able to say, okay, we'll do this and we'll move on to the next phase. And again, as I said, it was a very cold winter. I was able to get blankets from the executive office of Mr. Ficano.
Okay.
MGM stepped up to the plate. The community, I mean, it just ended up it was overwhelming to me, but I was very grateful that I was obedient to that call because it ended up being not only started in 2003, but it still is progressing.
Now let me ask you this
Yes.
before you go on. Now, if you start off with blankets and then it escalated to actual coats and boots and things of that nature, how did you get the people in need in that area to recognize that this place right here was available for them?
The Baptist Center, which is right across the street, they feed a lot of people.
Okay.
So they made it available by putting out flyers that just after Thanksgiving, they would have blankets and, like I said, gently used clothing and that sort of thing for them. But let me back up to Project Love Share is a service. We're not a 501c3. This is just a matter of the heart. The name came about from one of our artists. His name is Frank D'Italio. You probably see his cartoons in the Michigan Front Page. And he said, Karen, we need to be able to put a label on this so that it will be all about love and sharing. So that's how the name came about, and it ended up being Project Love Share. And as you know, we've had stories done, and out of this Project Love Share, you have in your lap there results of it. Again, it's being obedient to the call and deciding that even after Christmas, something needs to happen for these individuals so that this whole concept would be perpetuated and just be a continual effort. And that's where we came up with Heart for the Holidays.
Okay.
And Heart for the Holidays ended up being a project that I'm very, very proud of, because corporations have people within their confines who are doing great things in the community and they never tell the story. So I sold it on the premise that let me come in, let us tell the story of either your group within a group or one of the individuals on staff that you know of who's doing a fabulous job, and got them to pay for it. And after I netted out all of my cost for the project itself, I was able to contribute to a charity of their choice in their name, but it would come from the Chronicle.
Okay.
So that's how Heart for the Holidays came about.
Okay. Well, so you're doing a combined effort of two type of well-deserved and needed services in the community. And so let me ask you, so during now you said not just the cold months, but is it all year long that Love Share does something? Because actually I have been keeping up and reading, and that's why I said, well, you know, this lady is doing some wonderful things.
Yes.
And I read an article on something with domestic violence,
Yes.
so cell phones or something were given.
Yes, Verizon was one of our partners. This is the second year we've done the domestic violence tab. In fact, we ended up, we won an award for that effort, along with one that we did with Women in AIDS. And, but with Verizon, they wanted to partner with us so that they could get the cell phones and they would donate them to a women's shelter.
Okay.
So we had a box in the Chronicle office. In fact, it's still there. So this is an annual a concept that we're going to be working with.
Okay, so people actually can give their non-working phones.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Verizon in partnership will activate the phones for domestic.
That's right.
Okay.
And they're given to the Genesis houses and women who are in need of being able to talk to their children, you know, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And yes, Project Love Share it started out being a blanket drive. You're absolutely
Right,
correct.
right.
And then Hurricane Katrina hit. And so we worked in conjunction with Salvation Army, with Detroit Rescue Mission, and even people within the community itself that said, I need a coat, I need some shoes, that sort of thing. They were able to come to the Chronicle offices, and we were able to give those things to them. Okay. Believe it or not, when the Katrina hit, and they moved those people out of the New Orleans area to the Detroit area, the Salvation Armies and Rescue Missions and Genesis House, they ran out of clothing.
Wow.
And it ended up, what can we do to help these individuals? In fact, through Project Love Share, you probably saw where we were able to work with Stinson's Funeral Home to get some students out of that area and back to the Detroit area who actually live here. And we were able to help them to get home.
Okay.
So we've done a lot now, and I'm thinking back on it. You're absolutely correct.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, Karen, you got a lot of helpful and supportive information there, and we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with some more information about Love Share.
My nerves stand on end, my palms sweat, and everything's a blur. The rush is so intense. All I want to do is get even higher.
Andrea Moretti is under the influence of her local teen center volunteer. Each month, she helps Andrea stay on top of the world and off drugs. Be a coach, a mentor, a volunteer, because you have something to offer.
And welcome back to the show. Those who are just not joining us, we have Karen Love, and she is the the founder of Love Share. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the roll so much about Love Share. Let me tell you this. When you hear about a program such as this, and it's not really a program, but a service such as this, you want to be able to be involved, whether it's a volunteer or if you have something you want to give, then we want you to pay attention today, get the number here, email us or call us at the Just Ask line and get more information about Love Share services. Okay, now Karen, I had to say that because you know what, every now and then you do hear about a program, project, or service that people are providing. You want to know, how do I become involved? Or I've got a lot of blankets or clothes to give. What do I do? So if somebody wanted to get involved, what should they do?
They can give us a call at the Michigan Chronicle, ask for Rebecca Baer.
Okay.
She is on extension 255.
Okay.
She is my assistant, and she'll field all the calls whenever they call in, and with whatever their need is, or if they want to donate, or whatever, because as you know, we're getting ready to come up on the winter months. We are also into a school system time, and children still are in need of, like again, gently used sweaters, uniforms that their children have grown out of and they don't know what to do with them, coats. We need those types of things. And you'd be surprised, we could use even canned goods because we're down by the Capuchin kitchens. I always have a hard time getting that out. You know, it's one of those things. The Detroit Rescue Mission, and again, the Baptist Center, they feed people every day. And it's amazing to me because I see children in line down there that need to eat. So, you know, whenever, if they can get those goods to us, we call Rebecca Bear on extension 255 at the Chronicle, and that number is 313-963-5522. And our hours are from 8:30 to 4:30. Only my hours extend beyond those times, so that's why I kind of got that mixed up.
But that's wonderful because, first of all, like you said, you asked your friends.
Yes.
Okay, and when you realize, and when you say friends, they are friends who are willing to support the idea that you have and actually have a heartfelt way to think, okay, that's a good idea.
Right.
Everybody doesn't think that way, and wonderfully enough, there are people in the world that believe in giving and sharing and doing the right thing in the community. And for it to be an idea, or I wouldn't say an idea, but when, like you said, you were driving and you see people every day in need, you know, sitting on the curb or standing in line waiting, or even when you see a person with a hungry sign, you know, and you see them everywhere. It's not just Michigan; it could be anywhere.
That's right.
And a service like this is helpful, you know, and then because I wonder, what do people do all summer? I mean, nobody seems to pay attention in the summertime because I guess it's so warm, you just walk around and everything. But does Love Share do anything in particular in the summer? I mean, you guys still help out with the food ration or whatever?
Yes, we do clothing drives still because again, you've got gently used clothes, and if you pack them away, sometimes you can get them, sometimes you can't. And my thing is, bring them on down. Let us get those things distributed to those individuals. Because if you ever come down to the Castor Howard corridor, it is a heartfelt sight to see, and especially women. That just takes it out the box for me. And not to say that men don't, but to see women begging and then wearing the same things over and over and over again. And I'm going to give you a story that all kind of ties into this. I can remember, I'll say about 10 years ago, this is before the concept came about for Project Love Share. I used to pick up the mail for the Chronicle from the post office. And there was this one guy who was always standing in the doorway, same clothes on. I mean, his pants, I'm sure he had worn those for so long, they would probably stand up by themselves.
Okay.
And my deceased husband had a lot of clothing that he wouldn't wear it after 2 or 3 years, you know. So I decided what I was going to do is gather up these coats and boots and socks, underwear, whatever, that I could put soap, toothpaste, whatever, and put together a care package for this guy. And this had to be a real young fella. And I said, I'm going to take it to the post office, because what people would do is they would give him $1. Well, my thing is, you want to work for this, how about taking the mail and putting it in my car for me? And that would be a way of him earning those clothes or whatever it was. But I took him these clothes this day, and I mean, he took that bag. I literally ran down the street. So I said, oh, thank you, Lord. Maybe tomorrow when I see him, he'll have something on, because I mean, it was big, heavy car coats and that sort of thing. That next day, when I got back, went to pick up the mail, that guy had on those same clothes. So my feeling was either, and I want to believe this, you know, you always want to believe the best out of people, that he either sold those clothes to eat, or God forbid, he bought some drugs off of it. But it came to me, you don't question what you give to people, you know, and that just kind of put me in a place where the more I can do, let me do it.
You know, and you made a valid point there. You don't question.
That's right.
You know, because a lot of times people say, well, I'm not giving because they're not going to do anything to buy drugs.
That's right. You
know, you don't know they're going to buy drugs, so you assume that they're going to buy drugs.
That's right.
I'm not going to give them anything, you know. And I've had a few incidents where I offered a person the opportunity for me to buy them something to eat, and they said no.
They want
You know, right, they'd rather have the money. And one thing about that, too, if you try to buy a person something to eat, they don't know you, and they did ask you for money. So which means that, hey, how do they know that you didn't tamper with the food? They're human too. They have thoughts, you know. So they're not saying that they don't appreciate your gesture. It's that they don't know you.
That's right, and they don't.
Right, and the chances of what you do for a person doesn't mean that that's the only time you're going to do it in your whole life. Like, well, I gave once, so that should count for everything. That's not how it goes. And I know for a fact, I have plenty of clothes to give, so I'm more than willing and happy to give to Love Share.
love to
Okay,
get them.
so I want some young lady or mature woman look good as me. Okay, so but,
Yes, I
on the
understand.
fact that I've heard of programs where Dress for Success. Okay, and it's dealing with the transition of women coming out of certain programs to be prepared to go to work with clothes and everything. And I think that's wonderful
I do
because, like
too.
you say, if you're growing out of the clothes or just don't like the clothes anymore, or for whatever reason, a member of your family is deceased, what are you doing with those items? Okay, where do they go?
They gather dust.
Right.
They gather dust, and why
Right.
not put them to use?
Right.
I had a situation a couple of weeks ago where this gentleman met me as I was getting out of my car, and he was saying, well, ma'am, do you have $1? Do you have $2? I don't think I had any money. I think I had just, my daughter probably needed the money, and I had given it to her, and I think it was a payday or something like that. But all I had fruit, and I had a boiled egg. And I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. I said, but I do have this fruit and this boiled egg. You're more than welcome to have it. He took that bag, and I'm sure he ate that food.
Okay.
Because those people, I mean, you see the same ones standing around on the corners down there every day. I mean, they have their special spots that they stand. I mean, and it can get pretty monotonous, you know. I mean,
Right.
and how much can you give? But you just give. You just give. And it doesn't bother me to do that. Every now and then I'll stick $2 in my glove compartment, knowing I'm going to run up on somebody. My thought is it's somebody's mother, their sister, it's somebody's dad or brother. I even think about my brother who lives out in California, who went through a terrible time, and I know that he was probably soliciting money on the corners at one point in time.
Okay.
So, I mean, I just give back, and the feeling behind being able to do that, just like with Project Love Share, it's a good thing, and I don't question where these things go. It's just a matter of giving. You know, the Lord says the poor will always have with us. So either you're going to step out on faith and help these individuals through something, or because they can't help themselves. There are a lot who cannot help themselves. That's another story.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, Karen, you're making some valid points here, and when this show airs, a lot of us who are watching, our viewers who are watching, will be calling because, I mean, you're saying this from your heart. This is nothing that you just do, and this is just not to give away stuff just to be giving it away. This is actually what you feel from your heart, and a lot of people who feel just like you. So they're going to be more than willing to want to support the efforts of keeping Love Share going. Now, are you going to eventually become a nonprofit or anything?
Yes,
or
that is the intention. But right now, if people are even want to do monetary donations, don't make them to Project Love Share. My pet charity this year is going to be Simon House.
Okay.
And I'd like for them to, if they're interested, to make the donation, or if they're going to give a monetary donation, make it out to Simon House, because they are in desperate need of raising some funds right now. Simon House is a transit house for women with AIDS.
Wonderful.
And they need our help. They need our help desperately.
Okay. Okay. And see, now we very seldom hear of home services or agencies. Now, is Simon House an agency or service, or do you have idea?
I think it's a little of both, but it
Okay.
is a transient house.
Transition? Okay.
Yeah, but it's doing some wonderful things, and it's right in the community,
Okay.
which makes it a good thing.
Simon House.
Yes, Simon
Okay.
House.
Okay.
And they can send that to the Chronicle, and I'll make sure that they get that.
Okay, that's wonderful. You know, we hear about things and a lot of devastation, because I know we want to talk about Katrina and and how the people who came from New Orleans and stuff came to Michigan to live, how they were treated. Did you guys get a chance to be involved with them, Love Share?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We got a call from Salvation Army. Their coffers were empty. They were just
Oh, yeah.
straight bone empty. So we did a couple of stories and put it out there, and people were lined up bringing clothing to the Chronicle so that we could get it to these individuals. They were for children, men, and women. Children, men, and women, and they were so grateful for us to get those things to them. So the Salvation Army, they came and picked them up. I think we had 2 or 3 big trucks. I mean, the big trucks, and we were able to get those things to those individuals, which was a good thing. As the city really rallied around the effort, which lets us know that we can do what we want to do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, I want to say this. I want our viewers to be considerate of the fact that if you have things that you want to give, You know, I know a lot of us have a blouse or something don't have buttons on it and stuff, but be careful what you give, ladies and gentlemen. Don't just put stuff in the bag and say, well, here. Okay, if it's an outfit you know you didn't wear long or something you outgrew or whatever, and it was nice then, let it be nice now as you give. Okay, 'cause that's important. You know, you can give something, but you don't want to put a bunch of stuff in the bag and say, well, here, I don't need it. Maybe they can fix it and put a zipper on it. No. Okay, we like to have zippers, we like to have buttons,
Absolutely.
snaps, and all those. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to take a break here and keep that in mind, and we'll be right back.
How do you convince a 14-year-old girl that hair doesn't matter? When the diagnosis is childhood cancer, CureSearch.org can help. You're not as alone as you feel.
And welcome back to the last half of our show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know today you've heard a lot about Love Share and Holidays for the Heart. So I want to tell you something. When we do programs like this, it's basically because we want you to be aware of services. And we want you to know that if you have a giving heart, then you should give and find a service, organization, agency that you should give to, and know that you've done something wonderful in your community. So if you'd like to contact Karen Love, once again, you can call her at the Chronicle or give us a call here at the Just Ask Talk Show, 248-988-0250, or drop us an email at justasktalkshow.org. And definitely we will get the information over to her. We're getting ready to go into the cold season, so you know every year around this time you're looking at yourself and saying, I can't wear that coat anymore and this and that. Don't hold it. Don't waste time. Go ahead and give it up and give it to someone who is in more need than you. Now, Karen, I had to say that because I think it's important for people to know that when you give from your heart, not just from your wallet or just from the thought of saying, I'm going to get this out of my house or anything like that. So I want our viewers to know that with all sincerity, we want them to do the right thing if it's in their heart to do so.
Absolutely.
And keep in mind, you know, make sure everything is pretty much neat and take it from there.
Absolutely. And one thing I wanted to piggyback on is you don't give what you don't want yourself.
Right, okay.
You know, you don't give what you don't want. If you can't give it to your sister or your mother, you know, I mean, let's be very cognizant of that. Because a lot of people, like you said, they'll send it, the lining's torn up in it.
Right.
You know, people don't have time to go through that. These people need stuff like right now. And they want to put it on and feel good about themselves when they put it on. You know, like you and I do when we dress every day. You know, we love ourselves. That's one reason when people say, do you really love yourself? Yes, I got up this morning, I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and put on the very best that I possibly could. So we want these people to feel good about themselves, even though they may be in a wanting or a needy position.
Right, that's wonderful.
I want to also add, Project Love Share will be sponsoring a luncheon next year, 2007. We're going to be launching a luncheon called Phenomenal Persons. And you'll hear more about that or see more about that on our website and also in the paper. So look for that in the coming 2007 season.
Okay.
And we'll also be partnering with another project that I have. It's called EduTech. It's a section that I do for ages K through 12. And we'll be, the one that you'll see come out probably July and August, will be doing a push for those uniforms that the kids are going to be wearing in the Detroit public school systems this year. We're going to want those uniforms for those who are maybe moving on to other schools. We want those because there are other kids that can take advantage of that.
Right, and you know, in uniforms, usually it would seem as though the uniform trade would be easier, whereas there's people, parents who have small children and someone else's children's gone beyond that status right there and say, well, what do I do with these uniforms? Give them to someone, you know, and especially if, you know, I mean, people might ask for $1 or $2 knowingly, but if they kept the uniforms in good condition, still dark blue or whatever, or green and blue, and a little white shirt and stuff, why not give to someone else's needy children?
That's right.
I assume that people think that, well, if they're going to a private school and this and that, they got money. That's not necessarily so.
You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
You're absolutely
and so
correct.
why can't you just give a good uniform to someone and be happy about it?
So we'll be asking for those things
Okay.
next year, July
Okay.
and August, for them to bring them by the Chronicle so we can get them out through Project Love Share.
Okay, well, we hope that we here at Just Ask can be of service, by all means, getting this word out for you and
Thank you.
spreading it out in the community that, hey, it's just not a local thing, it's throughout, so be able to help.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
Now, I want to ask you before we close about Hearts for the Holidays. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this was the very first
Yes.
article.
Yes.
And this is 2000
That's 2003.
Now, I've kept this paper so long that I actually kept the paper because I wanted to know about this gentleman on the front, who is
He's
a
Major
captain?
Kendall. He's Major Kendall now.
Major Kendall.
Yes, both he and his wife moved up the ranks.
Okay.
He's with
Okay.
Salvation Army.
Okay, and I actually kept it because I was reading an article on him and didn't know that this was a part of. Is this a part of Love Share or just
Well,
a heart?
that's a spinoff from Project Love Share.
Okay.
It's called Heart for the Holidays.
Okay. Now, what does Heart for the Holidays really do for
For the community?
community? Yeah.
Well, I was able to, bottom line is I'm a marketing sales person.
Okay.
And looking at the end of the year, everybody's at the Salvation Army or Rescue Mission or somewhere, they're either giving or they don't know who to give to and that sort of thing. So I went to some of my clients, such as MGM, Motor Cities, Executive Office of Wayne County, and asked them, who do you have on staff that has done an awesome job in reaching out to the community? You know, it could be a mother who's got, or a foster mother, let's say,
Okay.
who's raising 3 or 4 different kids, and you all know about it, but the community doesn't know about it.
Okay.
I said, why don't you allow us to tell their story in this Heart for the Holidays concept, and naturally they're going to pay me for it. And then what I would do is donate a portion of what they would pay for, actually it's just for the printing of the paper, and give it to the charity of their choice. And people jumped on that. They loved the idea. Strategic Staffing Solutions, they love COTS.
Okay.
Or it may be someone that loves the Capuchin Kitchen, knowing that they, at the end of the year, they've given all that they have, so now's the time to try to help them again. So they're surprised that maybe January, February, March, they get this check from someone and it says, because of MGM, we're making a donation to you in the amount of $500.
wonderful.
So it's just a matter of giving back. We don't make any money off this project.
Okay.
It's just another way of giving. You know, if you think about it, the scripture says, to whom much is given, much is required. So I put my staff to task and the papers to task in helping us to help the community.
Now, you know, I'm holding these papers up, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you this was the first, 2003, okay, and this was the second. What's this, 2000?
That's 2004. And if you take a look
Okay.
at that, those are actual photos
Right.
that people down in the Cass corridor allowed us to take pictures of them.
Okay.
So that is the one that's closest to my heart.
Okay, and 2005, the candles, the candles of love and sharing, okay? So we're expecting the 2006
Oh, yes,
paper
yes.
and for it to be a good one, okay? So please pay attention and see if your services can be involved in Holidays for the Hearts. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you have something you want to give, why not give it, okay? And don't wait till the snow hits the ground to start giving. Give now, okay? The sooner the better. I mean, giving is all year long. It doesn't have a holiday attached to it, and it doesn't have a time frame either, okay? So I want you to keep in mind, if you don't contact Karen Love of Project Love, or Love Share, that is, or Holidays of the Heart, give us a call at our production number, 248-988-0250, 248-988-0250, or drop us a line at the justastalkshow.org website. We can provide you with the contact of any of our past guests that you want to see. So if you have a question, comment, or concern. So I want to thank you personally. Okay, come back and join us. Please keep us posted. Okay. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am. I'm your host, Marsha Florence of Just Ask. And what do I always say? If you know someone with a disability, or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.